You tell him, Doran.
Guys, I hit the jackpot.
But I'm in love with the courtyard.
We shall name you Paul.
Oh, just a raw potato. That's a delicious snack to eat while I walk around this dungeon.
Shut up, Sulkin.
It's okay, we're gonna take care of that wound, don't you worry.
You find an assortment of goods.
Goblinos.
Frosted mini dwarves.
Moradinotes.
Calamvorios.
California!
Nice.
Harlan, you get inspiration for that.
These are good for your soul.
Welcome back to Dice Shame, episode 33, Open House.
I'm on the inside.
Come on in, y'all. Man, I want to have a big house party with all our friends.
Yeah, coughing on each other. Not during this time, Joe.
We could set up a barbecue in the laneway, blow up the kiddie pool.
Passers-by, we can just wave and say, "Don't come near us, but here's a hot dog," and throw it.
I miss having people
Me
over.
too. This week's MVP is Stephen Keen on Twitter for his kind words about Dice Shame. He's just started our show, and in his own words, can't wait to hear the rest. I swear I have not paid him.
Welcome to the fold, Stephen.
Get in it now. By the time he listens to this episode, too, he's going to be so tired of us.
He could never be. Not Stephen.
Not Stephen. Let's play.
Yeah, let's get down to business. So, I don't know if you guys have been to the grocery store recently, but I came home with quite the haul the other day. Harlan can vouch.
Nice.
We decided that we deserve a treat. And we got 2 different sugar cereals
Oh, man.
that I'm very excited about.
Both were your favorites.
Well, okay, so I previously did get us a box of Lucky Charms that Harlan took care of.
Previously, with the Lucky Charms, you bought corn pops for yourself that you told me I couldn't touch.
so
then
true.
bought Sugar Crisp for yourself, and also honeycomb.
Yes, so I actually bought 3 cereals for me and 1 for Harlan, if we're keeping track.
I thought you said that you wanted a treat. Was it a treat or was
Yeah.
it several
Multiple
boxes
treats.
of
A treat
treats?
is multifaceted in this.
Yeah.
episode.
The treat is called cereal.
Do you consider one cereal a treat? Because then
One
if
piece
you
of
have
cereal?
multiple, one box is many,
Yes.
many
You have
treats.
had 300 treats today.
What is the treat quotient?
The quantum of
Total.
treats, the smallest, indivisible.
We have a Timbit cereal too. And I know that most of our listeners are American, and so I just wanted to like.
Do you have a Dunkin' Donut cereal?
Oh, probably right.
They must have some really
Probably.
cool fucking cereal.
Yeah,
They
gotta be
do.
Imperative.
My sister-in-law goes down to the States every now and then.
Yeah, they're treat food. Speaking of treats, it's a treat to be hanging out with you guys this afternoon.
Aw, yeah.
Thank you.
Ditto.
Last episode, you took care of some very interesting little creatures.
Yeah, what the heck
Yeah.
were those? They were like red-skinned blood.
Red
gnomes.
hatted.
Oh, by the way, just for people that aren't in the Discord, if there are any lurkers that aren't in the Discord, I'm just not feeling very charismatic today. So we're going to listen to Season 1, Episode 33 of Dice Shame. One of my favorites, but definitely not my favorite, but one up there. All right. Boop.
Gnome type creatures from the Feywilds.
I don't like them.
I didn't like them either. They took a lot of my health away from me.
Same.
Which I was kind of hoping to keep.
Yeah, no, the stab in the gut was not pleasant.
And
So
they took my ego because I missed.
you're all a little bit worse for the wear, and Orin is a little bit shell-shocked, frankly. Well, thank you so much for bringing me along on this expedition.
Aren't you glad you came? Look at all the blood everywhere. And Red like skips forward. His paws just in like pools of blood.
Is Red actually excited about it, or is he just trying to like push Orin's buttons?
No, Red's actually excited about it. This is like to Red, this is adventure, like getting in a scrap and fighting. I don't think Red understands the seriousness of like death more so than like to him this is like a stage play of combat, and he's trying to get Orin excited for it, where I think Orin's taking the much more realistic, oh my god, I've just seen a man split like a log Red's way too innocent to push people's buttons in this way. He's just like excited.
How are we doing health-wise there, everybody?
Less than half. Definitely been stabbed a lot, and now I got to climb down from this damn gatehouse to figure out how I'm going to get down.
And Kraloth sees you up there, kind of holding onto your gut, and he walks over and holds up his hand.
Yeah, so I'm imagining this point of him like trying to get down on his like jacket and down on his knees and trying to like lower himself down the side of the gatehouse, and like maybe Kraloth can help like grab his feet on the bottom or something and help him climb down a little bit.
If you have help, you're not going to need to make a roll for sure. But
Yeah, but it's just real pathetic as he's also like trying to flinch because he's been stabbed twice by this fucking fairy creature in a bloody hat.
It's okay. We're going to take care of that wound. Don't you worry.
Oh,
Red is untouched, by the way.
Yeah,
I
of
don't
course.
think I took a single point of damage.
Yeah. This is great. And Doran, how about you?
Doran's hurting. He's down to 29 hit points. He's looking at his hands. He's going, Doran, you've taken a lot of injury today. He's got, cuts on his hands and like cuts on his chest. And
He's also still drunk, so he's like swaying there.
Yeah.
with his
Say.
hands.
Yeah.
Anyone who's been around drunk people enough knows that there's a moment where they just stare at their hands and sort
yeah,
of watch.
yeah.
them
So
for a
he's
moment.
quite injured. On a scale of 1 to 72, how do I feel? I feel about a 29.
Ooh, really?
oh,
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
pretty bad. Okay, everybody gather around. I'm going to say a prayer to Kellamvor.
Physically, mentally, I'm feeling great.
Okay, come on over.
Okay.
it's a base 72 mathematics system.
So with those numbers, Kraloth knows what he has to do. He's going to cast Prayer of Healing as a level 3 spell.
Wah 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 wah.
And so everybody's going to heal 3d8 plus
What?
my spell casting ability modifier, 3.
Kraloth rolls them, and everyone applies the same number.
let's do it. I'm ready. Poised.
That is a 9 plus 3. So everybody gets 12 hit points back.
Oh.
Yikes!
Sorry about that.
What did you roll?
That's a really low roll.
Nine
I rolled a
on
1, a
3d8.
2, and a 6.
Well, it brings me up to 30 out of 42. It could have been worse.
Kellenborg really likes these fey creatures, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean,
While they're doing this, I want to look around for Zolkin. What has he done during this fight?
Right.
Like, he led us to this gate and then just pieced out. Is he hiding in a bush or what?
So you're standing in the lawns of this villa enclosed within the stone walls. So there's a large, domineering 2-story building that occupies the majority of this enclosure. And then off to the west side, there's a stable. And he pops his head out from the stable and he says, everything's clear in here.
You didn't even do anything, Zolkin. And I walk over. I wonder why you got bit by something invisible when you go hiding in stables when the real shit hits the fan. Orin, don't be like this guy, I say, as Orin's like hiding in the bush still.
Zolkin puts a hand on your shoulder and he says, words hurt, Red.
That's right, they hurt, and so do arrows and sickles. Look at all this blood. This is Doran's blood.
Yeah, you're a pretty cowardly. I'm not really speaking clearly.
you tell him, Doran.
You're a real coward, Zolkin.
In fact, Zolkin, why don't you lead the way? And I point towards the...
Well, what's he hiding in the stables?
I'll do a perception, sure. I'll lean in past him as he leaves the stables, assuming he's walking out.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. So I'll lean in past him and take a look inside the stables where he was hiding. Let's do a general perception.
Sure.
With a 16.
So the stable house is a stone building. It contains enough stablage for, I don't think that's a word, but
It is now.
for 4 draft horses, which none of them are currently occupying the stables. You found one of them torn limb from limb
Oh, that's
on
right. Yeah.
the grounds of this villa already. I believe you also found some evidence of giant teeth in its haunches. And Red, as you lean in, a shaft of moonlight from the open door illuminates a patch of square cobblestone on the ground of the stable on the floor.
Methinks it looks suspicious.
There's just like little sweepings of hay that kind of form a squarish outline.
I wait till Zolkin leaves and then I slip in. I mean, I don't know whether this is something that was hidden by the owners of this place or if this was something that Zolkin did sneakily. So I'm just going to go walk over nonchalantly
Mm-hmm.
and take a look-see-loo.
Okay. What does your look-see-loo look like? How do you investigate this?
I mean, I can't imagine it's like a trap because it's in someone's stable. It'd be very weird if someone's like, haha, a spike ball.
Those horses never suspected it.
Yeah, no, I'm just going to walk over and bend down and like take out a dagger and sort of pick at the edges.
You uncover a 3-foot square flagstone in the southwest corner of the stable that looks to be a hidden trap door.
Bingo, bango.
Oh, yeah.
And I give it an open and
Well, you
sniff.
try. You try to open it, but it is very securely locked. There is the hole for a key, which you do not have.
Interesting. All right, I think I cover it back up with
Hay
Hay.
and stuff.
hey to you.
Hey.
With hay, and I head back over to the others nonchalantly with the intention of telling my team, but not Zolkin.
Sure, yeah. And Zolkin is just kind of shooting the shit with Kraloth.
And Red does this for two purposes. One, I don't know what this is, but if it ends up being something positive, I don't want Zolkin to necessarily share in on the wealth. And if it's something negative, then we can push Zolkin down it later.
My guess, just meta, is that it's
I'm so proud
totally
of you.
meta is meta.
Meta.
It's meta. You
No,
did
you-
it.
Joe, you should have just left it alone. No, it's.
I touched it.
Now he's all fucked
Oh,
up.
Um,
I dig it.
My guess is that it would be a trapdoor, or not a trapdoor, but a secret entrance into the building.
Yeah, and then I come back to the others and I tell them, hey, you know what I just found in there? I think I saw like a trap door with a key on it.
Really?
Interesting.
Well, and you come back, and Doran has already started to kind of investigate this field that's around the building where we're standing in this gated area.
So yeah, you're standing in the yard, I guess I would describe it, of this villa that's
Courtyard?
yes, thank you. The courtyard of this villa. It's enclosed by a 12-foot tall stone wall. You entered through a broken rear gate, and you're looking at the rear of the villa. So there's like a back patio, essentially, that does have pillars, Doran.
And that's what I'm looking at. That's sort of what I'm investigating.
You're also standing directly to the north of a broken wall of the villa. The wall has been demolished partly, and you can see through the hole into a dark room, which you would probably guesstimate to be the kitchen based on the furniture that lies partly destroyed within. Additionally, you had previously investigated the body of a horse in the courtyard. There's also what looks to be a body of a human on top of the veranda in the back.
And actually, that's a good note. I think while Doran's doing this, and as I'm explaining to them the trapdoor, we loot, right? Like, we want to
Yeah.
see if there's anything of value on these sickle-wielding monsters.
I'm going to go up to Jack, and I'm going to shake off the blood from my mace, wiping it in the grass, and I say, so what do you make of these creatures? You ever seen anything like them before in your books?
I mean, I've never seen anything like them before, but they're definitely fairy creatures, which is really interesting. They're from somewhere else. I don't. These ones seemed really vicious though. Like I'd never suspected. I've always sort of thought of fairies and pixies and that sort of thing as cute creatures, a little bit of dust, makes you fly, whatever. These bastards, God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doran kind of says from across the courtyard. He's kind of standing outside of this hole in the wall with his axe out, and he's just peering in. Doran, again, with his soldier background, is not going off on his own, but he's still investigating sort of gently this dark area that looks like a kitchen.
Gentle investigation.
I was going to say, did you want to roll a gentle
Gingerly?
investigation roll?
Yeah, let me just see. Do I see anything in the shadows of this hole? 12.
It would be a perception if you're just kind of looking around.
Okay, so a perception of 15.
So yeah, as I mentioned, a substantial part of the northern wall of this kitchen has been destroyed. Rubble lies on the lawn that you pick your way over, and through the hole in the wall, Doran, you observe the disarray within. You see that there are pots and pans, cooking utensils dangling above some preparation tables in the middle of the room, and there's obvious signs of a struggle from in here. There are some muddy footprints on the floor, and you see a couple of doors that lead from this room, one of which is open right now.
And while Doran is investigating the back of the mansion and Kraloth is speaking to Jack, Red is gonna go loot the bodies.
Yeah, you were going to look at the body.
Because he's Zolkin being like, I take the stuff.
So the horse body is, I mean, the horse has no wallet.
Look at all this great horse meat.
But you want to go and observe the body on the back porch?
Definitely that. I'm hoping it has a key, but I also want to check out the Fey creatures as well, see if they have any, valuables or weapons.
So the Fey creatures are armed with these vicious looking sickles.
Pop and ice.
The sickles.
Cream.
Dick.
These creatures otherwise are not carrying anything that looks valuable unless you want to hang on to their iron boots, which strike you
Red
as
removes the small iron boots
their
from one of them
feet
and puts them into his
smell
bag of holding.
so bad.
Yeah, I think Red is one of those. He's like animalistic, so he's kind of attracted to gross smells.
Yeah.
Right.
What about their caps? How would Red look in a red cap?
Oh, definitely take one of those too.
As you pick up this red hat, blood comes off on your hands. They're soaked in blood. That's how they're red.
Oh, cool. I take one nonetheless. So I take the boots and I take the little hat. And then I move to the body. Is there anything on the human body?
Yeah, so I've described this body as a smear across the veranda. But if you are inclined to go through the pockets of this ruined corpse's clothing, you do find a key.
Wow.
Well, good. I'll pocket it for now with the intention of telling everybody, but I do want to sort of see what everyone else is doing before.
The road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Yeah.
The key and the hardware for the trap door are made of two different metals.
Oh.
You don't think that they would match.
So this is a key for something else.
Kraloth walks over to this corpse and he kneels down with his holy symbol and says, "May you rest in peace."
What state is the body in?
There's a pulpy mass for part of his head, and one eye is open, yes. The one eye that you
I'm not going to bother trying to bury him, but I'm just going to close that one eye.
I could help bury him real quick if that's a thing you wanted to do.
Me too.
I'm already covered in blood. And I reach down and I try to pick up as much of this body as I can.
Doran watches you start to pick up the shoulders and the upper body, and the bottom half kind of falls away and it stays on the ground.
Yeah.
So Doran comes over and picks up the legs. I'll give you a hand here, Kraloth. I guess you want to give this poor sap a proper burial.
I'm sure he would want to be buried on the property that he lived on.
Between two of the trees that the Fae had jumped out of, Jack's going to walk over and just sort of raise his hand up, and a big mound of earth comes and piles itself, and there's suddenly a 5-foot deep hole there, just perfect to lay this person to rest in.
Kraloth makes eye contact and nods and lowers the hunk of flesh down into it.
And Doran lowers the other half of the hunk of flesh down into the grave.
Usually we're on our adventures and places. We're on a mission. We've got the next goal, and I think there's just enough like booze in our system. Like no, this guy gets on. We're going to honor this guy, and so there's this moment of like, okay, we make a grave, we bury this guy in him. The earth goes over top, and we like take this whole moment to make a bit of like a space before we move on.
We shall name you Paul. Here lies Paul.
Sulkin is standing in the darkness underneath one of the trees adjacent to this freshly dug grave, and he's like, "Whenever you're ready."
You be quiet. This is special adventure friend stuff. God. All right, let's go.
Yes, so there is a back door to the villa that you have not opened. You instead are looking through the ruined wall of the kitchen, beyond which we have seen that there is some disarray and an open door leading into additional darkness.
I mean, it would make sense to go in where it's been caved first because we can see what we're walking into, correct? That's my
Yeah,
logic.
and Zolkin's like, "Yes, well, when I came through yesterday, I did the same. It's kind of a mess in here." And he leads the way. He picks
Tools and like the knives and stuff, and holding them up to the moonlight to see like the quality and the craftsmanship, and then putting them back down.
And Red is like rifling through a drawer, taking the silverware, like putting the spoons.
You're
and
like,
stuff.
"Let's get to looting."
Yeah.
Kieran does a little sneeze because of the pungent odor of spices emanating from the open door on the east wall. As you all filter into the room, it becomes apparent that there is a broken door leading into a pantry.
There's a broken door over here.
Yeah, didn't you hear the sneeze? Is there any more booze in this kitchen?
Yeah, totally.
I feel like I stand in the caved out northern entrance and like wave a bottle at Oren, who's undoubtedly still outside. And I'm like, Oren,
All right.
the bells are ringing.
Master Red, if I come in there, swear you'll protect me.
If you don't come in here, I can't.
All right. And he clambers clumsily over the broken wall and takes the cooking wine out of your hand, pulls off the stopper, and then takes a hefty swig, a diligent swig.
He's very thoughtful about it.
And I take it back and I swig as well.
Doran hears the cork come out and looks across the room and says, "Toss it over here," under his breath. I don't know about you guys. I'm keeping quiet. Like, I don't want to disturb anything if there's something we can sneak up on.
Yeah, yeah.
For sure. But I also think we're in this world of a bit drunken, that we're playing way more fast and loose than we would.
Oh, of course.
It definitely has the feel of like hijinks,
Yeah,
you
it's
know, which I
definitely
don't know if
hijinks.
Yeah.
I've ever seen you guys get up to.
I love Jack being like, yeah.
I mean, he's sort of going back and forth between those modes because I think I can picture him standing in the kitchen, Kieran sniffing around, and Jack is just sort of standing in the kitchen, taking in what everybody else is doing. He's maybe standing a little stunned, watching the world spin around him a little bit, trying to be like, oh, is there personal effects in here? Is there anything that like tells the story of who the people are in this kitchen, who lived here? Like he's
Yeah.
studying the ruins of it as if it was, you know, a dig somewhere, because that's his mode.
I love the
Yeah.
idea. It's almost like a cartoon where like his vision turns to this like tapestry, and then it turns back to Red and Oren, and Red's like shaking the bottle, and then it turns back to the tapestry, and then it turns back to Red, and you're like, which one do you take a step towards?
Kraloth, as you stand, you're like over by the stove,
Mm-hmm.
and a slight noise catches your attention. Down by your feet, a very fat orange tressum with angry expression on its face is just sitting there looking up at you.
Whoa. Hey, Jack, did you transform Kieran?
No, I thought Kieran was over in the spice cabinet.
We got our first living host.
Hey, I'm just going to talk to the Tress.
I can't believe we have so many special guests when I'm not feeling very chatty. Hi, Rach. Can I call you Rach? And Allison. I am an admirer of Allison. You're great in the Discord. I am not feeling chatty today, though, Allison. This is not my usual streams. Yeah. Come to a more fun one, Allison. Please. You're the best. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the episode now. God, I even sound dead inside. I promise I'm not that bad off, but just sound like it. Alright, boop.
Him as if it can understand me, I guess.
Well, we have a member to the party that can talk to animals.
No, but I can do something like that. And Red sees you guys sort of referencing the Tressum and walks over drunkenly. And I'm going to use my primeval awareness. So again, I have the innate ability to communicate with beasts. They recognize me as a kindred spirit, and through sounds and gestures, I can communicate simple ideas to a beast as an action, and I can read its basic mood and intent. So I can't have a back and forth, but I can
Yeah.
definitely communicate to an extent. I can learn its emotional state, whether it's affected by magic, its short-term needs, and any actions I can take to persuade it not to attack. So yeah, and I'm going to read its mood.
Yeah, it's mad right now.
Okay. And is it affected by any magic?
And not apart from its own innate sort of magic that Tressums have. And you think that it would probably befriend you if you feed it.
Yeah, it recognizes me as a kindred spirit. So I see this and I pull out a little bit of lambas bread from my bag and I bend down and give this fat ass cat some more food.
Oh man, the change that comes over this cat, like its once bristling whiskers kind of slick back across its cheeks, and the ruff of its neck, where all the fur was standing up, just sort of dissolves into these jowls as this fat cat just like greedily takes these big mouthfuls of
take it,
bread.
Jim. Good boy. And I'm going to just try to... Where are your masters? Girl or boy? Wait, let me feel.
Whoa.
Boy?
It is a boy.
I know. And what a boy.
It's not really interested in talking to you about that. More so interested in hanging out with you.
I turn to Jack, who is sitting by this or standing by this thing next to Kraloth, and I'm like,
Yeah.
You said Tressums innately can view invisible creatures, right? So this thing would know there's an invisible creature here."
Yeah, they can detect poison too. Tressums are really cool.
Again, I'm picturing Jack saying that like buzzed. I for some reason I know you're not, but I picture you holding like a beer
He
and being
is,
like,
yeah.
Dude, man.
I feel like
they're
it's now
fucking
it's back to
cool."
that look back to the tapestry. Look back now. It's look back to Jack. He's got the cooking sherry in his hand, and he's
Good.
like he's
I like
it's his birthday still. He's been stabbed
listen,
a little bit.
Totally. And I stand up and I like take it and like swing and hand back. I'm like, yeah.
Hey,
Hey,
hey, hey. I hold my hand open for you to toss me the bottle.
for sure. Yeah. It's your turn.
Yeah, make a ranged attack. So
13.
oh, well, yeah. You can you throw it at Doran. Doran catches it.
I catch the bottle. I take a swig. Glug, 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 glug. There's a pantry back here.
Hey,
And I toss the bottle back.
Hey, I feel like for some reason Kraloth is very serious through all this.
He just buried somebody.
Yeah, so every time you guys are tossing the bottle back and forth, I'm like,
hey.
trying to get
Hey.
it control. And every time you catch it, it's a wash of relief.
He's like babysitting.
But yeah, Kraloth is definitely concerned that he's got to look after his party, and he really desperately wants to keep everybody alive. The all of the doors in this room, like looking around, like there's the pantry door, and then there's a door down where Zolkin is. It looks like 2 doors.
So there are a total of 4 doorways leading from the kitchen.
Okay, so while everybody's talking to this Tressum, he's just going to walk over to this door that's just north of the pantry and lean into it and just take a listen at the door.
So you take a listen at the door and you hear the distinct sound of nothing.
Okay.
What's it sound like?
It's like this.
Yeah, I think it's clear. I rolled perception. Does that matter?
You can tell me the number.
24.
Oh, wow.
You hear that the door is locked.
Oh, that's very good hearing.
So I'm in the northern corner right by Kraloth. I see him turn the handle to this door and it's
Yeah.
locked. And I like step forward.
Yeah.
And forgetting that I didn't actually tell anybody, I just pull the key that I found out of my pocket and try to put it in the lock.
And Kraloth kind of steps back, surprised.
Doesn't fit.
And I'm like, well, you never know. By the way, I found this key.
So Doran steps into the pantry, and I'd like to roll a perception to see if there's any traps or anything in here.
Sure.
Pantry traps for those naughty kids trying to steal cookies at night.
What's the sugary cereal?
Oh, it's a 21.
Nice.
You find an assortment of goods, herbs, spices, dried food,
Goblinos.
Frosted mini dwarves.
some more cooking wine if you'd like. There's some honey nut oats, cereal
Moradin oats.
clusters of honey, Moradin oats.
These are good for your soul.
Kelimvorios.
Nice.
Harlan, you get inspiration for that. Yes. I
Yeah.
love that.
That's great.
And basically with your perception check, you're able to ascertain that this is a well-off household. The food is just starting to spoil a little bit.
Is there anything other than spices that is anything that Doran might want to take just for sustenance? So he'd grab a bag of apples if there's apples there.
I just rolled a natural 20 on your behalf. So pick 5 things that you want and they're in here.
Okay, so
Oh.
there's some like preserved fish,
Yeah.
preserved meat. There's some unspoiled potatoes. A bag of
Doran's just
unspoiled
raiding the
carrots.
pantry. He like comes out with
But
handfuls.
I love the
Yeah.
idea of to Doran. Oh, just a raw potato. That's a delicious snack to eat while I walk around
like
this dungeon. Like that's
treasure.
oh my god, yes,
the real treasure.
a pomme de terre.
You just finished the last of the apple brandy or whatever, but you find another bottle.
Oh, there's an apricot brandy.
In there.
Yes.
And I say, guys, I hit the jackpot. And then everybody's eyes open. Oh, it's not gold, but it's another bottle of brandy.
It's golden colored liquid.
Yeah.
While I'm outside the pantry, Red's going to go in and grab a large metal pitcher, and I'm just going to scoop a big scoop of flour.
Smart.
I like it. That's probably more inspiration worthy than Calamvorio's. But
well,
you know what?
invisibility as written, anything that is being worn or carried by an invisible creature also becomes invisible. So I feel like if you throw flour on an invisible creature, that it would indicate where the creature is for like one round, and then the flour would become invisible too.
That's fair.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would be a
You
tough
would
thing to...
you would definitely be able to follow tracks in flour on the ground.
Oh, even better.
But I feel like there's like a limited applicability.
Shelf life.
Thank you, Rob.
So if I hug an invisible creature, do I become invisible?
If it carries you, maybe. No, I don't think that's
Interesting.
how it works.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
fucking
What if
know.
it wears
D&D.
I walk up to Zolkin, who's picking his teeth with a fork.
He's looking at you guys so bored.
Yeah.
Bored out of his fucking mind. And he's
Zolkin
like,
is Joe in
can
this."
are we gonna go or?
Shut up, Sulkin.
Hey, Zolkin, you got lockpicks?
Yes.
What the hell are you doing? Get through this door.
Yeah, you jerk. And I like kick his butt as he's going. over.
I don't like you when you're drunk.
What do you mean? We've been drunk this entire time.
I haven't liked you since I met you.
That's not very... Kralo, did you hear what he said? That's not very nice.
To be fair, we did kill many of his men.
Yeah, and it's kind of fair because we don't like you either, Zolkin.
Yeah, we don't like him.
All right,
so-
all right.
I like him.
Okay, so he is going to you're referring to the door that's just north of the pantry?
The one that Kraloth and Red were fooling around with for a minute and found locked, and I think Jack was again just taking it all in, and then was like, "Oh wait, he sold himself as a roguish individual. Get to work.
Yeah.
What are you
He
doing
makes
being
a
bored?"
big show of getting out his lockpick and of obscuring his methods from you with his back as he works because he's not keen on sharing his talents with any of you.
We're definitely in a learning mood right now.
As a cantrip, I'm going to cast guidance on him.
Oh,
Wicked.
So that means I get to
Just-
add a +4.
Just
or a
casually.
plus D4.
He gets
Does
this
that look
casual
like
burst of
something?
inspiration. I try to cast it, a little bit, more sleight of hand, so it doesn't look like I'm helping him, but I want him to get that door open.
I mean, the 2 that I rolled on the D4 that you gave me for guidance made me hit the DC exactly.
Oh, nice.
Wow. Way to go.
No, it should be like he's picking it and he's not getting it, and you just like wave your hand like a Jedi, and it's like clicks, and he's like almost confused at it. He's like, oh.
He's like, no big deal.
Shut up, Sulkin.
Now let's see what's behind
He
it.
reveals a room, a square room, that has a barrel of water in one corner and a staircase that leads down into darkness.
Doran is standing at the door that's south of the pantry,
Mm-hmm.
the single door that's south of the pantry, and he grabs and jiggles the handle. Is it open?
It is, yes.
And he opens that door as well. Lets the door slide open.
So, Doran, you're looking into a dark room that is undecorated, contains 4 single beds and a small dining table. There are a few chests in here at the foot of the beds. This is probably servants' quarters.
Without waiting for anybody else, Doran loots through the chest.
Yeah, all you find in these chests are some spare uniforms, it looks like. They're all matching clothes of a kind of drab navy color, and some mundane personal effects.
I just leave them.
Maybe a diary that's like, "Dear diary, I sure am a servant. It's so sad being a servant."
I really don't have anything else with my life.
But I'm in love with the courtyard, master.
Oh, Jack wants the diary real bad. In the moment now, he's like, "Oh, this artifact of a time and a place captures something about this. These are the sorts of documents you really want. They teach you the most about a place if you're trying to preserve them. It's
Call it Diary of a Sad Servant.
Diary of a Sad Servant. It is."
And you're not in the room, but Doran kind of picks up and he flips through the pages and he goes, "I think Jack would want this." And he hollers over to you, "Jack, you want a diary?"
Yeah. Who's what?
And he throws it and right towards you. It kind of flitters in the air.
Jack knows how to grab a book out of the air and
Roll for book
I don't know.
grabbing
No.
in the air.
while drunk
No.
and dashing across the room.
This is the
It's-
one kind of dexterity check Jack will never have to make, is grabbing a flying book.
He's trained for this his whole life. I think he maybe flips through it a little bit and then tucks it into his bag next to his spell book for safekeeping so he
Yeah.
can read it later.
The last page just reads, "I sure hope we never get attacked by giants."
All right, and I'm going to go to the last door on the west side, the double doors, that I believe would lead logically to the front door that we didn't actually pass through, correct?
It does indeed.
And I'll open them.
You open these
Doors?
Thank you. I was looking for the word doors because I'm a little mermaid motherfucker. What's the word again? Doors. You open these double doors and you reveal a long rectangular gallery. There are some dark curtains that hang over specific places in the walls. And there are a number of different doorways that lead out from this long room. One of them, yes, as you had imagined, does lead back out onto the veranda. So that's the door that leads north. Then there are a set of double doors on the western wall, a single door on the western wall, and then another door on the eastern wall. Additionally, there is a tall wax statue in one corner.
Waxy. Wax statue. All right, I turn around to the others and say, oh, right, so we've opened a door that leads down. Doran opened a door to the servants' quarters. We got the pantry. We got the way we came in. And then we got this door. I think we should do this floor by floor. Why don't we get all the doors on this floor done, and then we can go downstairs or upstairs?
Doran continues to walk through the servants' quarters and finds another door. I'll start with this door in here.
Perfect.
Doran finds this door in the servants' quarters.
Perfect. And then I'll follow him as well, and we'll just go room by room and clear this floor.
Is this the study, Zolkin?
I didn't come through here.
Okay.
So Doran turns the knob and pushes the door open. Is it open?
Yes. So you reveal a dark foyer. This has two double doors on the south side that look like the main entrance to the villa.
Okay.
There is a plaster shelf lined with some ornate.
Rob, if you're so anti the Ginger Jack agenda, why have you never described Jack's hair color? You don't have a cause. You don't have a cause at all. You don't have a counter argument even. You just hate my argument. Also, hi Alex. Really happy you're here. And Rach. And Scotty. And Allison. So many special guests. It's I don't have chaos within me, Alex, by the way. I'm sorry. This is like the most low energy stream possible. I almost canceled. I am not chill. I am not. There's nothing in me today. Harsh but fair. Rob, I mean, come on. If you really want to squash the Ginger Jack agenda, which you never will because we're strong. We are strong. 3 strong. Describe how he looks in canon. You've described his outfit occasionally, which you've switched it, by the way. I know. I've listened to this podcast like 4 times. Like, Rob, I have a lot of respect for you, and this is very fake arguing right now, just so you know. But you can't start shit with me when you don't describe your character at all, bitch. Other people describe your character. Also, I'm being fake angry right now. Let me just be clear. This is fake anger, but come at me, bro. I know where Canada is. I'll fly there.
Vases or vases, depending on tomato situation.
Are any of them more than 100 years old?
All of them are.
Oh, wow. These are all antiques.
Yes. So the shelf circles the room at a height of 9 feet. So you're going to have to do some comical jumping in order to get your hands on a particular vase.
Well, hold on. How tall are you, Jack?
9 feet.
Probably not 9 feet tall.
No. How tall are you, Jack?
5 foot 6 inches.
And I am 4 foot 6 inches, which makes us an even 10 feet. 10 foot.
This is drunk math, though. This is Doran drunk math.
So that's 1 foot. 5
So
and
if you
4,
stand
9. No,
on-
10 feet. Yeah. You can
Well-
peruse the shelves. And Doran says that. Jump on my shoulders, Jack.
Yeah, it's they're antiques. He needs a closer look at them. I think he's going to scrabble up the back of this dwarf and climb on his shoulders and reach above his head and one by one pull these fancy looking vases down.
As you are pulling the vases off of this shelf, Red and Kraloth, you enter the room and you see that Doran and Jack are busily looting this room. There is additionally a 10-foot wide, 15-foot long rug of exquisite design on the floor, and there are some tapestries on the walls that depict a dragon flying over a ship and pilgrims on camels, respectively.
Cool.
Jack, you're pulling these vases off of the walls, and each of these, so there are 16 vases altogether.
Whoa.
Each of the vases are worth 25 gold. You know them to have been created by humans.
And a vase is a very lightweight object. Red, you got that bag of holding? Let's keep some of
Yeah,
these.
let's
eh?
put some in there. Here, and I take
Okay,
one.
whoa,
Hold
guys,
still.
fellas.
Hold still.
And then just
fellas.
throw them in. Yeah.
Kraloth is the slowest to get into the room, and he follows up behind, and he sees Doran and Jack doing their thing, kind of wobbling a little
This
bit.
acrobatic stunt.
Red is up there with his bag, like,
The fucking Grinch, the three of you.
and Kraloth holds up his hands. He says, "Whoa, okay, Jack, get down from Doran, and we need to huddle up right now because we are not going about this smartly. Come on, bring it in.
There's like a bit of teetering.
Yeah,
And
come
and
on.
with Doran, with all his self-righteous, I'm not one to pilfer, I'm not pillaging, this is against my lawful goodness. You could tell the alcohol is starting to get to him because he's like,
Yeah.
come on, let's take all this shit and let's take this too. And oh, hey, here's this and here's this.
Like two minors trying to get into a dirty movie.
Jack looks immediately ashamed.
Come on,
and
come
puts
on.
the vase back on a shelf and jumps down and
All right.
goes to huddle up very obediently.
I know we're all excited about all of the great things we're seeing in here, and I got a little excited about some of that food I was seeing too. I can't wait to dig into that. But we got to remember that there are creatures in this house. It is not a secure location.
That's right.
Those vases aren't going anywhere. So I say we clear out this building of any potential threats, and then we do the taking of things. Does that sound like a good idea to you?
Oh, right, Kraloth, I agree. I mean, I wasn't doing any of the looting, and I like gesture towards Doran and Jack, who are shamed and walking back. But I agree. Let's clear this place room by room, and then go to the basement, or maybe upstairs.
All right. Doran, you lead.
Okay.
Zolkin is like leaning against a tapestry on the side of the room.
Shut up, Sulkin!
Doran makes his way into the next room.
Yeah, and Red will follow.
So, Doran, you're standing directly in front of this wax statue.
Wax statue.
You see that it depicts a regal looking woman cradling a tressum in her arms. This is obviously a kind portrayal of the ginger tressum that is following Red around, meowing loudly for more scraps. The wax depiction of the tressum has a wax rat in its mouth.
Is that you, pussycat?
Is there any label or description or something that would tell us who this woman is?
No.
I go to pick up the tressum. And I try to hold it like the same way that the wax sculptures. I'm like, look at this, you. And I immediately drop it again. I guess it does live here, we at least know, and this must be the matriarch.
Looks to be.
So there are doors to the west, 2 doors, and then there's one to the north, which we assume would lead out back where we came from.
Yes.
Kraloth kind of shuffles past everybody who's looking at this wax statue and makes his way to the door that's across the hall and listens up to it.
Okay, so this is the southern one on the west side of the hallway.
Yes.
You listen at the door and you hear the distinct sound of nothing. And from the doorway back into the foyer, Zolkin says to you, Kraloth, yeah, so that's where I was attacked.
In this room, or just where I'm standing?
No, I was in that room.
I just want to say, in Rob's defense, he does a very wonderful job describing every bit of magic that Jack does, like every single time. Like, I feel like he could have just said magic missile by like episode 50, but then no. He really describes how his magic missiles are different in every situation. However, he does not describe what his character looks like ever, which barely any of them do, but Rob is especially criminal about that. Also, I don't know what Alex is talking about, this sloth Jack, but I am so confused and baffled and eager to see where that is going. And ginger is hella tasty. Anyway. Y'all are having a great time in the chat. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry I'm not more chatty, but I'm loving reading you guys.
As I told you, in the middle of rolling up a tapestry. It's probably still in there.
If there is something invisible behind that door, what are we going to do to protect ourselves? And I'll take out that flower, and I'm going to just spread it around the floor outside here to catch any footprints of invisible creatures.
Sure.
Because, it's why I have it.
Just gonna give a nod towards Kieran. You don't see anything we don't see, do you?
Not in here, boss.
We're all standing at this door. Red is still standing next to the wax sculpture. I will just be looking at this wax sculpture one more time, just in case. I do feel like there's something a little funky about it. And I got a 24.
Nothing else pops out to you in terms of details about the statue. There's no secret key pressed into a wax pocket or anything, but it does occur kind of pompous to you that the proprietor probably of this mansion would have a wax statue of themselves basically directly in front of the doors leading into this villa.
Yeah, I push it over.
You push the statue over.
Yeah, just like into the hall.
It breaks.
But I...
Damn!
Red.
Sorry.
Oh.
You scare the cat.
Yeah.
Jack is like injured that he was like, I'm gonna be good. I've been scolded by Red. Red was right. I guess I can't play around all this stuff. And then Red goes and fucking breaks the statue. Oh my. All right.
Sorry.
I look at my teammates here, my group of adventurers, and I kind of nod in sort of a questioning approval. Should I open the door?
Well, what positions should we be in?
Yeah, so I'm standing back. I draw my bow, knock an arrow, and I nod.
Dora has his hand on the knob,
I think Kieran's
and Kieran's on my shoulder.
yeah, and I think Jack's standing against the back wall, but has taken the time to project his mind into Kieran, so he's gonna see what Kieran sees when the door opens.
Good thinking.
I turn the knob and open the door.
You reveal a dark parlor. There is a high-backed chair facing a pair of padded couches, a coffee table, and as Zolkin had mentioned, there is a tapestry that is half rolled up on the ground.
And actually, I am at the back of the group with my arrow knocked, and I'm going to take a step back just so that Zolkin is also in my view, because I don't trust him very much.
Sure, yeah. I mean, as you guys move into this parlor, Zolkin moves past Red, gingerly stepping over the broken limbs of the statue on the ground. So yeah, you reveal this dark parlor. There are some thin drapes on the walls, probably covering windows. Kieran does not indicate to you in any way that there are any invisible creatures in this room.
Yeah,
Jack, you don't see any forms here that you wouldn't expect in a well-appointed and kind of stuffy-looking parlor.
So as I'm using their senses, I might take a deep breath in and sort of use that keen Tressum sense of smell to see if I can pick up any creatures or things that might also be here somewhere.
Yeah, roll perception.
24.
Nice.
There are some rats here, not in this room, but probably somewhere in the walls that Kieran is distinctly aware of.
Perfect.
And also a strange smell that you can't put your finger on necessarily. Why don't you roll a nature check?
28.
Wow.
You know from your time in the Arcanariums of Waterdeep, rubbing shoulders with mages and wizards all of your adult life, the smell of imps. You have been around imp familiars
Right.
in your life. They're not in the room, but you detect like a strange brimstone type prickle in the back of your throat that you know, like, oh yeah, that's an imp. I don't know what you know about imps, but that's what you smell.
I mean, can we do an arcana just to put that together so I can know what I can...
Yeah, let's establish it.
25.
Shit.
Cool. I mean,
Wow.
let me give you the nuts and bolts right now.
Can imps be invisible? Sorry.
Yes, absolutely
Okay,
they
thank you.
can.
Oh, well, there we
Yeah.
go.
They are great at being stealthy. They can change shape.
I think they can also be rats, probably.
They can be rats. They can be rats, ravens,
And
spiders.
shoot fire from their chest.
No.
And you also know that they have some non-magical damage resistance.
Are they potentially poisonous as well?
Yes.
Kieran, being sensitive to poison as well, might they taste, touch, or smell anything poisonous associated with the rats in any, or one more than the others or something?
No, but now it occurs to you that this is indeed part of the flavor of like
Got it.
Zolkin's smell now. Like you're putting it together like, oh shit, the wound on his shoulder smells like imp poison.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm assuming you haven't shared any of this with us yet.
No, he's just
Just,
drunkenly
staring.
staring into
Yeah.
a corner of
It's
the
funny
room.
too, because like normally with Jack, it's like an instantaneous look, but because he's drunk, we're all just like paused, waiting for him to like.
Well, it's not even because he's drunk. He's not even in his body.
Oh,
right
that's
now,
right, yeah.
he's
True
like
thing.
deaf and blind and standing in a corner. And he's like,
What do we do? What do we do? He's not saying anything.
inside Kieran having a whole moment of like, the like Sherlock Holmesian arrows coming together. He's like, he's looking around or like, okay, imps, familiars. Are there spell books? Are there other magical accoutrements? Like,
But it's taking like a full minute.
If Jack is drunk, okay, when he does this,
Is Kieran
how-
drunk?
Yeah, how is he seeing? Like, how does the drunkenness affect his viewing eyes through Kieran?
Oh, that's a whole question. Anyway, when do you tell us this?
Jack leaves Kieran's body, and I sort of step forward from the back of the room. It all makes sense now, guys. There's imps here, which means they're devils. They can hide. They can be invisible. They're poisonous. They can turn into rats, and Kieran can sense rats in the walls.
Can they understand common?
Yeah, I believe they can.
So this is the moment they just heard us say all this.
So you might as well show yourself familiar. I don't know if your master's still here or gone, or what devilish business you're up to. But why don't you appear and we can have a discussion about it?
Yeah.
Chicken!
Don't make us hunt you down.
Yeah.
Don't be impish.
You are unanswered.
Yeah, cowardly imps.
Doran acts boldly and steps into the room and looks around. What other doors are in here?
Yeah, there's a door to the north. You would probably assume that this leads into the same room as the final door from the hallway.
And is that the only door?
I'm going to stay close to Doran because I know that he's been
Perfect.
hit. He's still kind of hurting.
Doran steps in, goes north. Fuck these imps. I'm a little drunk. Okay, so we'll take them on if they're invisible or even if they show themselves. Alcohol adds that extra bit of.
Idiocy.
Anyways, he opens the door.
You reveal a grand room.
Wow.
Sheathed in darkness.
Look at this grand room.
An iron-wrought chandelier hangs above a black oak dining table, surrounded by 8 high-backed chairs carved to look like devils. A fireplace dominates the western wall, flanked by red-curtained windows. And there is a handsome glass-doored wine cabinet that stands against the eastern wall.
Hello!
Doran, as you move into the room, you are beset by creatures. Everyone roll initiative.
Dun, 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 dun.
Harlan, what did Red roll?
16.
Doran?
6.
Justin, what about Kraloth?
11.
And Rob, what's Jack's initiative?
21.
Nicely done. Doran, you are beset by creatures.
Gargoyles.
Probably imps, though. I would hope.
Ah, I see. Gargoyles.
Right. That's this whole buildup was for gargoyles. Yes. The old
There's
one
imps
too.
in the walls. Oh, gargoyles.
Yeah, it's actually both. There are gargoyles in here, but we spent 20 minutes on imps. It's cool.
They look
Imp-goyles.
gargoyle-ish because as they attack you, their invisibility drops and you can see these tiny creatures with oblong faces and red glowing eyes have needle sharp teeth. They are flying down at you, Doran, and they all try to sting you with their stinging appendages that they have. I rolled a natural 20
Ooh.
and also a 21 and an 18. Does the 18 hit you?
Yep. No. Sorry, an 18 does not hit. My apologies.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got some
A
new
19,
armor, right?
A 19.
Nice. That natural 20, I'm going to convert to normal.
Good to know. So 2 hits, 2 misses. Luckily, you are a dwarf who is resistant to poison damage, correct?
Correct.
That's pretty lucky. Why don't you make a Constitution saving throw? 2 of them.
22
Mm-hmm.
and, a 10.
So 7 poison damage for the first hit, which you saved on. So naturally, as a dwarf, you would be taking 3 damage, but because you saved on it, you're actually only taking 1 damage from that successful save. So 1 damage for the first sting.
Okay.
And 6 damage, which is halved because you're a dwarf, so 3 damage for the second sting.
Beautiful.
4 imps revealed, just congregating on your dwarven friend. Jack, it's your turn.
Yeah. How hung up are we on being quiet, do you guys think?
0. I pushed over a wax statue. They know we here.
Okay. So we're going to try a thing. Jack pulls out his orb and steps sort of in line so we can see these imps over top of
You're still
Doran's head.
back in the parlor, right?
Yeah. And I guess maybe he's looking past Doran and Kraloth. Doran, plug your ears.
All right. And Doran does.
Uh,
Fingers in both his ears. He just drops his axe.
on the center one right in front of Doran, Jack holds out his orb, and for a minute it looks like the orb shatters into a million pieces. But it's the same shattering that happens right out in front of them as just all the creatures in there get like wrenched and torn asunder. So a sudden loud ringing noise erupts in that space. There's a 10-foot radius sphere, which I hope catches all of them. And they're going to take 3d8 thunder damage on a failed save and half as much on a successful one.
Okay, so Doran's going to make the save as well.
Yeah, Constitution. And I rolled a 20 for damage.
Ooh, nice.
21.
And these guys all fucking fail.
Beautiful.
Nice.
So they're going to
Perfect.
take 20 damage. Now, the thing that hurts Jack more than hurting Doran is non-magical objects in that 10-foot radius that aren't being worn or carried also take damage if they're in the spells area.
No, all the wine.
Sorry.
So Doran, you succeed on your saving throw, but that still just means that you take half damage. So 10 damage for
Oh, man.
Doran, and then each of these imps takes 20 damage, and they all explode just in little mini fireworks of imp intestines.
Intestine.
Nice.
You're welcome for that. They're all dead. They all die.
Wow.
Wow. Red steps into the room and he's like, "Oh, right, I'm ready to battle. I heard the music. Where are they?"
And you see that Doran is just covered in imp guts and dripping with wine as the cabinet to the east has also similarly exploded.
The imps are dead.
And the chandelier just falls. There's imp on the ceiling, there's imp on the floor, there's imp on Doran. Thank you again to our great old one Patreon supporters, Kellen Holman and Christopher Ryan Evans. You two have made it completely possible to be crazy and zany, just as
Bye, everybody. Boop and boop.